Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Warhammer 40,000, Shooters, Blood and Teef. We's gonna be having our first look at and first impressions of this game, and we's gonna be having a lovely time, here we? Right, I will drop the horrible orc impression, but it is a really fun game, and I kind of want to set the tone for that. So, this is a 2D side-scroll shoot-'em-up. It reminds me a lot of Guns, Gore and Cannoli, both 1 and 2. It is very similar in all sorts of ways, except instead of Cannoli you pick up squigs and, obviously the weapons are different, but it does seem a lot like a reskinned version of that game. Now, obviously the story is different. It is a pretty funny game, it involves orcs naturally. It does have a, I really want to call this microtransactions, but I'm going to give you the wrong idea. They're not microtransactions, but you can buy hats in the game, right? Thing is, you buy them with teeth rather than your own, money and hard-earned cash. How do you get teeth? Well, you just play the game. You pick it up while playing the game, and yeah. So I really want to call it microtransactions because it sarcastically gets a point across, but no, it's a mech shop, right? You can buy all sorts of hats, and you can buy different versions of weapons, which do impact gameplay quite a bit, actually, because, this is the only one I've found so far, I've bought so far, the looted plasma pistol, and yeah, it has unlimited ammo, but it overheats, and its stats are not all that different from the 6-shooter, but, they are different. Anyways, the game does have online mode. It does have a versus mode as well, so you can play on the cruiser, which is quite interesting. You can play locally. It does have local co-op as well as local versus mode. I have tried it, and it's pretty seamlessly integrated, right? You just grab another controller and click, and that's it. But let's get into the game itself. I'm going to be playing as a weird boy, and let's start. And I think you will pretty much immediately see the connection between Guns and Cannoli. And here we go. Oh, it starts me off from the beginning of this chapter. Okay. Now, I will say, it's not the easiest game ever. I've played it in multiplayer thus far only, or I'm in co-op mode thus far only, so co-op does make it a bit easier, but yeah, it's like I said, not the easiest thing. In terms of enemy variety, in terms of maneuverability, weapons, and all of that, you have tons, obviously. You're going to be fighting orcs, because your orc tribe has sort of betrayed you, I guess, or the boss kind of betrayed you at the beginning. It's not a spoiler, but he really likes your hair, and he decides to pull it off your head and throw you to your death, because, yeah. I also want to just really give a shout-out to the person that made this map, because I think he really understands the lore of the orcs. And the reason for that is the calendar in the background is a mushroom. I think that is a beautiful reference and something that should be cherished. Okay. It is really neat though. There you go. Look at it. So thus far we have 3 different weapons. You do get mech shops in the middle of the game as well, or in the middle of the level as well. It's not just in between levels. You have a melee ability. You can obviously jump around. You can dash. You have grenades, which I will attempt to use there somewhat effectively. Okay. Right bumper is for melee attacks. There are different classes of orcs you can play with, though. That doesn't seem to influence the gameplay all that much. It does, but not all that much. Most of the time, you're still going to be, shooting with the same weapons, and you're going to be fighting the same enemies, and you're going to be... Your war ability is pretty much the same as well, so it's... at least I think it was the same with the 2 classes that I tried this with. So, yeah, it's not a huge difference. I would have liked a little bit more flavor in terms of the classes, so maybe give them some, I don't know, some unique abilities. something silly. Maybe have one class more focused around melee, one focused around range, something like that. I think would have been a little bit more, it might not be in keeping with the Orc lore exactly to have a long-range focused class. In fact, definitely isn't, but I think gameplay-wise it would have been a little bit more sensible. Regardless, though, that's pretty much my only little nitpicky criticism about the game, is that the classes feel a little bit similar to one another, and there's not a big difference. I think the biggest difference I've noticed so far is the type of grenades they carry. There might be more. Again, this is just a first impressions, and it's early on in the game, but yeah, that's about it. And here's the mushroom again. The calendar with the mushroom, at least. Lovely. There you go. It is there is a story. It is pretty gosh darn hilarious, but of course we all play this for the shooty elements, right? And the shooty elements are, I mean, what do you want me to tell you? They're quite shooty, right? It is a really fun game. It is a really fun game, and it's not that often we get a Warhammer title that's, you know, actually just fun. Most of the time, there's a kind of caveat to it that, you know, this is not bad, but we're gonna give it bonus points for wearing a Warhammer skin. But in reality, the game's kind of like mediocre, or sometimes it's terrible. Fair enough, but yeah, this is genuinely a pretty gosh darn good Warhammer game. So yeah, there we go, I suppose. These are your respawn points in case you die, by the way, and I think I've covered pretty much everything there is to see in the game. So you get different types of attacks. There's a little bit of platforming here and there, but mostly the game is focused around combat, so those of you that don't enjoy platforming all that much have nothing to fear here, I suppose. Though, like I said, it's a difficult game. I do believe the enemies deal a little bit more damage in multiple. I think I just ran into that. I thought maybe I could. I didn't think that's the problem. Though, I say problem, it's the Orc way, so I don't exactly call it a problem. Either way, I should use my WAR ability a bit more often, probably. There is a lot of stuff to click, though. Though it does seem to save a little bit of progress, at least, which is good. Okay, I'm gonna... Yeah, that wasn't the smartest thing ever. Can I please start to shoot? Thank you. Okay... Maybe I should switch guns to something else for these close-range engagements. It is very fun in co-op too. Like I said, it's integrated pretty seamlessly. You just click on the controller, you click A on the second controller you have connected to your PC, and the guy just appears. So that's all great. The one thing that it does change, though, is it makes things infinitely more chaotic. So you should play this with someone that you have good coordination with, right? You sort of know. You have good communication with, so you can tell them, you know, I'll do that, do this, just so it's not, you know, completely insane and you lose track of where you are and where the enemies are and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's just pandemonium. It's basically just double the pandemonium in co-op, but I really appreciate the fact that they did add it, which is why I'm dedicating so much of the video to that. It's kind of becoming a lost art, almost. Local co-op is pretty much gone. I mean, co-op in general is not exactly the most common thing nowadays. But it's, like I said, very nice to see in a game like this, where it's, well, where it honestly belongs, right? It's things like this are great for your weekend sessions, or you know, whenever you choose to play it, really. But they're great for just a bit of casual fun, drop in and out. Visually, it's a really cartoony 40k game, and it's really bright, but it is given to you from the perspective of orcs, so not only does that make sense, that's oddly kind of realistic as well, right? Because grim darkness of the 41st millennia and all that is fine. For the Orcs, it's just Tuesday, so there you go. And by the way, yes, there are instruments being played on cue with the soundtrack and everything. Yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. There is a crowd too, as you can see in the background. So this is a proper concert. It's not just. Now, Juggernaut, is that orc wearing a top hat? Yes, it is a glorious British orc, and it is wearing a top hat. Juggernaut, is the other one with the chainsaw in his brain, is that also a thing? Yes, the other one has a chainsaw embedded into its nervous system. Do you have a problem with that? Thought not. Lovely. Oh, that's good. Now I'm going to shut up for a little bit, because I pretty much told you everything there is to know about the game, and you've seen most of... Well, you've seen most of the game, let's just be honest about that. Ah, there we go. So I'm going to shut up for the cutscene. I'm going to let you enjoy the music a little bit from here on out.
Listen up! I beat your boss fair and square. You is my boys now. There's a thieving git called Gutrekka what stole something off me. Who wants a scrap to help me get it back? We needs to find a way off this soggy planet and onto Gutrekka's ship. And it's that way. Where the humans are flying away. What do you say, boys? To the Yumi shags! Let's get crumping! This is it, boys! Drop the gates!
There you go. I mean, it's everything you ever wanted from a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, right? It's funny, plenty of action, plenty of different enemies, different weapons. I wonder if we're going to encounter different factions as well. So far we've been fighting Orcs, and we've been fighting the Imperial Guard. I suppose we're going to see a little bit more of the Imperial Guard now. Here they are. I love how squishy they are in terms of their resistance to bullets, or rather lack thereof. They are about as resistant as you'd expect a human to be. Unlike the Orcs, which take a little bit more of a beating. It's great, honestly. There we go. But, like I said, the soundtrack is bloody amazing, and I'm going to shut up and let you listen to it in the game proper. Let me just clear this, and I suppose there's a better way of doing this. Okay. Excuse me, game. Okay, thank you. There we go.
The Emperor protects!
Okay, sorry about that. We had delivery come in, the mailman and all that. I did play a little bit more off camera, just to show you some of the later levels. Well, not later, like a bit later, but you get the point. And I think I can almost bring this video to a close. Like I said, it's a fairly short one, but I am playing a different class than what I was previously, because I want to showcase that a little bit. This one is not my favourite, but doesn't really matter all that much. Yes, that is a mutant in service of the Imperial Guard, and yes, that is a bobblehead of a commissar on its shoulder, guiding it forward to glory and wisdom and courage and whatnot. Yeah, it's hilarious. It absolutely is. So here's the thing, like, the game's very similar to the previous two games. The same developer, if I haven't mentioned that already, which I'm pretty sure I have. That being Gore and Cannoli. But that's not, obviously, a bad thing. If it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, at the same time, that does mean that you can play those two games instead and really enjoy yourself first and then come back to it later. If you're really a fan of the game, and they do not get old. There are significant enough differences that the old side-scrolling 2D shoot-'em-up mechanic doesn't really get old. Partially because it's a completely different story, partially because the enemies are very much different. Which is kind of impressive. I mean, there's only so much you can do with enemy variety, right? In 2D games, you know, you have melee enemies, you have enemies that shoot, but there's really only so much. Well, as it turns out, not quite. There's there's a lot you can do, apparently. Let's get Bolter from the... Does it say Space Marines in the... It says regularly Space Marines, but we all know that it is, in fact, the Space Marines! Let's get a hat as well. Did I equip the hat? I did not equip the hat. May I please equip the hat? How would I go about equipping the hat? I understand it's sold, but how do I equip it? Dunno. Okay, never mind. Let's go get that mortar first before we... Oh, the bolter definitely feels like a bolter. Although, the fact that the regular guardsman can survive a shot from it... A bolter's more like an autocannon, a really big autocannon on an armoured personnel carrier than, you know, like a rifle or something, which is how most people imagine it. No, it's not a rifle. Believe me, it is very much not a rifle. But doesn't matter, it really works, it's good, I like it. As I was saying, like, there's only so much enemy variety you'd think, but no, they managed to pull it off, like with different movement, with different speed, with different weapons, with different behaviour. Like these guys will just rush down, and some of the other guys will throw grenades. There's a lot there, even though it's like 3 separate games with a lot of content to fill in. You know, they do manage it. So, yeah, it's props to them, right? Anyways, ultimately, it's not an expensive game. You can go ahead and get it. Link will be down in the description below. Do I recommend it? Yes, absolutely, fully recommend it. I think this game is bloody amazing, and if you're a fan of, you know, 2D shoot 'em ups, give it a shot. If you're not, you know, it's still pretty fun, even if this isn't something you really look for or go to Steam to search for on purpose, or really, you know, you're not really a fan of the genre, or you haven't really tried games like this. I had the same kind of feeling about Guns and Cannoli. I was like, yeah, it's a 2D cartoony game. It's not really my thing, but I played it. You know, I tried it out, and it was bloody amazing. So yeah, it is actually really bloody good. So thank you for this. It's more of the same, and I don't think anyone should blame them for it or look down upon the game for it being similar to their previous 2 success stories. So there you go. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to shut up now a little bit more and let you enjoy some lovely music. And there we go. That's about all she wrote. Please do remember to like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video and want to stay tuned with the rest of the content that I produce on the channel. It really does help out quite a bit. And until next time, have fun, take care, and bye-bye. I'll let the cutscene finish though. Be a bit weird not to.